These are the 10 craziest moments I've caught on camera at a poker table.
What did I just see? I'm not scared of you.
How you lose?
Buckle up, this one's gonna be wild.
This is what success looks like!
Number 10 takes place at the Aria in Las Vegas. We're playing 2-5 and one player is getting bored. He decides to try to spice things up. As you can see, he's already been playing wild and is buying chips yet again.
Let's have some fun here, guys. Come on, let's loosen up a little bit. I don't even look at my cards on the board. It's raised flying.
He doesn't look at his cards and makes it $30. Other players fold and I have ace-jack offsuit, so I make it 100. He is not happy about it.
I'm not scared of you.
The flop is 5, king, 4. I check and he reaches for cash and puts out a bet of $105. I'm not going to act like I'm putting him on some sort of a hand, except for the fact that I have ace high and I'm going to ride this thing out. I fasten my seatbelt and make the call. The turn is a 7 of diamonds. I check again and he loads up another bet, this time to the tune of $275. I'm probably buying front row seats to Value Town, but I quickly make the call. The river is an 8 of clubs. He obviously is going to go all in and put me in a tough spot, so I decide to beat him to the punch and bet $300. He goes into the tank for a while. Frustrated, he finally makes the fold. I win $900, but to this day, I still wonder what he had. Number 9 takes us to Cleveland, Ohio at the Jack Casino. I sit down at a 1-3 table and pick up the ducks. Fun fact, this is my first time vlogging, so how about some beginner's luck? It's a pretty wild table and the big blind makes it $37. If you've been watching any of my content, you know I love the ducks, so I stick in a call. The flop is amazing. Deuce 7-7, I flop a full house. Even better, the big blind bets out $100. It's an easy call for me. You can tell this is early in my vlogging career because I don't have a phone stand. The turn is a queen and all my chips fall over. He goes all in and I make the call. He shows me pocket queens for queens full of 7. I get stacked.
Wow.
Number 8, we head to my home casino, Running Aces in Minneapolis, Minnesota. The action here is insane for a 2-100 spread limit game. I have queen 4 suited and make it $8 and I get 4 callers. The flop is amazing. Ace 3-5, all of clubs, I flop the flush. I bet $25 and my opponent makes it $125. Christmas came early for your boy. I make the call. The turn is a queen and I check, hoping he'll blast off again, and he does. All in. I can't call quick enough. The river's a 5. I show my flush and he shows 3-5 for a river full house. For number 7, we're back in Vegas at the Resorts World Poker Room. It's one of my favorite places to play because the action is intense. You're gonna see why. At this 2-5 table, I am playing with a very aggressive player who's currently on a $10 straddle. I look down at pocket queens. When the action folds to me, I make it $25, but he decides to bump it up to $125. I really don't want to see a flop versus this guy, so I make it $525. Unfortunately, he makes the call. The flop is 8 jack deuce with 2 diamonds. He checks and I bet $500 and he snap calls. The turn is a 3 and he goes all in. I only have $950 left, so I say a quick prayer to the poker gods and make the call. The river's another 3. I show my queens and he mucks. I win a $4,000 pot, but still wonder what he had. Number 6, we're going to the Lodge in Austin, Texas for the Mega Monster Tournament. In the middle stage of this tournament, I look down at pocket 5s. The blinds are 500, 1,000, and my opponent makes it 3,000. I make the call along with one other player, and we go to a flop. King, 5, king. I flop the full house. Even better, my opponent bets 4,000. This is where I probably make a mistake and raise it to 12,000, but the player after me jams all in. The original raiser goes into the tank for a while and finally folds. I show my 5s and the other player has 6s. We have him crushed and I pray for no king from the poker gods. They answer by giving me a 6 on the river.
Let's go. That's so disgusting, bro.
Apparently my opponent to the right folded a king, but I'm not sure I believe him. For number 5, it's only reasonable to go back to Las Vegas for the World Series of Poker, where I have pocket 5s again in a major tournament. This time the mini main event. One opponent opens and some madness breaks out. If you don't know who Cuz is, he's a really loud poker player who always makes a scene. And that's important to know because in the middle of this hand, he starts picking a fight with somebody a few tables away that gets everybody's attention, including mine. The action gets to me and I decide to put some pressure on the opponent who opened by going all in. He folds and I'm ready to muck, but then I realize there's one other player who put in a 3-bet during Cuz's blowup. He's also on his 15th Long Island iced tea and snap calls my all in with pocket aces. I'm dead until the cards run out 4, 3, 7, turn is a deuce and the river is a 6. I get the straight. Talk about a major suck out. Unfortunately for my friend on the other side of the table, this put him over the edge.
How you lose, you
Number 4 is taking us back to the snow in Minnesota at Running Aces for one of the craziest things I've ever seen at a poker table. Before I look down at my hand, my opponent says this.
You gotta have lucky too. It's just, you don't have luck to lose. 3, 4, 5, win.
And then I see I have 4, 5. If this isn't a sign from the poker gods, I don't know what is. One opponent bets $22 and I have to see a flop with this hand. 2 other players make the call and the flop is Jack 6, 7. I have an open-ended straight draw. The first player goes all in and at this point, I've got to see it through and call her bet. The turn is a 3 completing the straight. The river is a jack. She shows ace jack for trips, but I have her beat with the straight. But no one is more excited than the guy next to me.
What did I just say?
I know, that's honestly why I played
45 bit.
Number 3 takes place at the Sahara in Vegas, and this time I actually have a good hand. Pocket queens. I raise to $25 and Greg goes all in, who's next to me, makes the call. That's when seat 1 raises it to $75. He has about 200 behind and Greg has a little more than that, so I decide to go all in. Greg literally goes all in and seat 1 snaps us both off with pocket kings. Greg has 10s and it seems like we're in some trouble.
We all know Greg's gonna win.
10 coming. 10 coming. Come on.
Pocket queens takes down a massive pot, never a doubt. Number 2 is our last hand in Las Vegas and we're heading back to Resorts World at the same table as before. Our friend the Maniac opens to $50, but the player to his left makes it $200. I look down at pocket 9s and decide to just make the call. We go 3 ways to a flop of king, ace, 6. Great. I check, but somehow the other 2 players check. The turn is a 4 of spades and I decide to take a stab at this and bet $200. The Maniac quickly calls and that's when the other player gets really uncomfortable and starts looking at his hand. Finally, he decides to fold. The river is an 8 of clubs. I give up and check. Our opponent checks and I show my 9s. That's when I hear my favorite words.
That's good. Oh my goodness.
But that's not the best part. The player who folded is beside himself and tells us,
No.
Number 1 is the craziest thing I've ever seen, and it takes place in Los Angeles, California at the Lucky Lady Casino. This short went viral, but if you haven't seen it yet, there's no chance you could predict what's about to happen. I have 6-7 offsuit on the button. Players in this game are playing any 2 hands, so when one player makes it 20, another limps, I decide I'm gonna make a call. We go 5 ways to a flop, which is 3, 5, 8. We flop an open ender. The first player decides to start by betting out $100 and the next 2 call. That's when I decide I'm just gonna go all in for $250. All 3 players call, and now I just need a 9 or a 4. Instead, the turn is a 3, and they all check around?
Check.
The river's a king, and I'm dead. Time to get some more chips. That's when seat 1 goes all in, putting the other 2 players in a really tough spot. Both of them finally make the fold, and he flips over 6-7 offsuit.
Same hands.
We somehow chop the pot, and I win. This is just a taste of the madness I've captured this year on camera. Make sure to hit that subscribe button for more reckless poker, and keep an eye out for the next video, the worst hands I've ever played.